The thing that I want people to know is that it's really DIY, and I really enjoy the DIY style. I don't have the high-tech technology within my room, but as long as you are there and you trust your gut, that's all you need to make a record. Hello, I'm Anna Mori, and I'm a singer-songwriter. I write songs and I sing. So I was born in Japan, Kanagawa, Japan. Shout out to Kamakura City. I grew up there until I think when I was 13 or 14, I think. I decided to move here to study English and just was curious about, you know, the culture and how I could kind of get in touch with my dad's side, which is, my dad is Filipino. Ever since, I've always loved music, and I don't really remember how it came to be, but I remember my grandpa was the first one to introduce me music. I had a little old upright piano that my mom kept, and she was playing as a hobby. That's where my grandpa got interested in just introducing me to the piano, and yeah, from there I got really obsessed with playing the keys. I've always loved instrumental music, and that was kind of my thing. I love to compose instrumental music. Up until when I was in third year college, I had a project that I had to finish. It was like a thesis for all of us to make a 3-track EP. And I was really planning to do instrumental music, like parang piano composition or something like that I'm used to. But I've always wanted to write songs that has lyrics in it, and I've always loved songs. So I decided to challenge myself for actually, you know, releasing something that I've been keeping in my cupboard. As a musician, I think it's such a treat, and I think I'm very blessed to have two blood running through me. You know, especially experiencing different cultures. I think that is one of the most important things in my life that I got to experience that really had a big impact in my music. And I think that, you know, the more we create, the more we want to see the world, and the more we want to know about the world. And it's just really great, the fact that I got to, you know, experience both living in Japan and also living in the Philippines. And I take pride in both experience, yeah. It's always, you know, it's always just mixed. I can't really pinpoint which part of me is Filipino, which part is Japanese. I think it's just really mixed. And I remember, you know, even I was living in Japan, you know, Filipino culture was always with me because of my dad. And I live here, Japanese culture was always with me because I live in Japan as well. So it's always with me everywhere I go and whenever I write. Whether I like it or not, music has been a way of communication with myself and with others from me. I think music is the most accurate way for me to converse with someone. You know, with all the things that I wanted to say. And it has been that way for a long, long time. And, you know, there are days that I don't want to face music, and there are days that I don't have a good relationship, but it's kind of like, it's like a best friend that, like, sometimes you don't vibe with this person. Sometimes they're the best thing ever for you. And it's always been that in my life. It's really like the most accurate way that I could think for me to express. And I'm not very good at, public speaking or in text or in call or in writing. That's not like my forte at all. And I think music has been like a creative output for me to carry on, and it always has been. It just never was a public thing. And yeah, I'm just really grateful that I could get to do this as like a part of the big chunk of my life. Yeah, I think through music I realized I'm just really like selfish. I think that this year especially, I feel that I'm very, very selfishly obsessed with music. And I think I had to come to terms. I had to kind of discover that through making the music that I like. I feel like I'm blessed enough to fairly be happy in my day-to-day life, and it's just, when I make music, there's so much that I want to say. Pala, the most exciting thing for me as a creative is when we're cooking, like when we're making something, and I almost love it as much as the show, or even the lunch, or even these things. I don't know, I feel the most free, I think, whenever I'm in the studio. Almost more freeing than maybe being on stage, or maybe same level of freeness.
But how would you describe the Anna that we see on stage and the Anna that we see like just taking life in her surroundings and stuff?
Like for me, it's pretty the same. On stage though, I think I'm just a little bit more unaware of self, or unaware of where I'm at, because I feel like when I'm on stage, I go kind of completely blank. I try my best to not recognize myself on stage and kind of just blend in with the music, because I think I'm just really presenting the music, and the audience is what the show is all about. Music making can be really mundane, and I think I really enjoy the mundaneness of music making. And sometimes it's just really slow. It's a creative thing. Creative process is not always fun. It's something that you get obsessed by, but it's not always this, I don't know, like a glamorous thing. Almost it is frustrating sometimes when you don't get the thing that you want, or couldn't find, or couldn't really finish on that day, for example. But I'm trying my best not to have too much gap from performing and making, because I feel like it's both equally me, in a sense where it has to both be represented like in a similar way. On stage, I guess I'm a little bit more transparent, like the opacity, parang like 70% opacity, parang ano. Well, Owen Row, initially it was like a big bundle of like the same, it's just like a big cyclical album. I was thinking of releasing it together, because all the songs that I wrote in Row and Or was written in the same timeline, in the 2-year span. And I don't know, it just gave me an inspiration to kind of separate the two, because it felt like Row and Or had a little bit of a different voice that I was using in terms of writing. Or is a little bit more, I guess, in my perspective, is a little bit more straightforward, and kind of not afraid of kind of using uglier words, in some people call it. And Row, it's a little bit more delicate. There's more metaphors into the storytelling. So it felt like for me, it's a different style of storytelling that I used in both. Or is it's kind of like a continuation of Row, which was released before, or it's another 6-track EP. But I would say the both EP just really is me kind of figuring out my 20s and how I understood them by living them at this moment of time. Like over the course of 2 years, I've seen like the early stage of my 20s and almost late stage of my 20s, and kind of, you know, understanding and kind of, it's my way of making sense of what I truly believe in now and what I stand by and what I don't stand by. And also it's about being okay with not knowing what the clear answer is for you. Because I also really focused on not really giving that much statement for this EP. It's not really like a statement piece, it's kind of more, it's a process mirrored back as like an auditory form. Yeah. I see my record as like a character that I'm making, and like I have its own like its own character quirks and like likes and dislikes about this person. But I think Ro is this innocent, almost naive but childlike, but also not afraid of kind of expressing their emotions. I think kind of like child's book where it's a good storytelling, but it's also very innocent and childlike, and you know, very easy to understand and easy to kind of see its problems. I think that's kind of how I feel about Ro. And for Or, it's kind of like the older sister of her, Ro, and not afraid of speaking up directly, almost stern, direct conversations. Like she doesn't shy away from, I guess, metaphorical ways of storytelling, and yeah, it's a little bit more grittier. Like she knows what she's talking about, and she's not really looking for like any type of sympathy toward from somebody. She's just really stern about her ideas, and yeah, that's how I feel about these two characters. And it's funny because like I write things in my notebook, and it started recently. I used Notes app for a long time, and that was the most convenient thing, you know, like I wanted to write it on the road, wherever I go, I have my Notes app and like I open it. But for the first time for Ro and Or, I wanted to write it in the notebook, because I just felt like it's more like I'm committing to the page, because I have to write words down with my pen, and it also just gives me so much, I guess, creative juices going when I'm writing, because I'm thinking while I'm writing, and it's not like a natural like finger fidget thing where I'm just typing it out. It takes a lot of time to just write words on the paper and while I'm thinking. So it's a nice commitment I have with songwriting, I think. And yeah, this notebook has been used a lot with that. I'm now noticing that maybe it might be like a little bit more abstract than like just writing down lyrics, to be honest, because I think that's kind of like my process where I just draw things, or like kind of like just parang medicine, so prescription. You can't read it, pero parang it's just all abstract stuff. Like this one. So that's kind of like how I do my lyric writing, and I just transfer everything into a digital format, and you know, see if there's grammar errors, because I will usually have them. I think it it does have a big impact. Not necessarily like the mere thing that I kind of follow, but my taste in books are like what I find cool about books maybe is just the way it's told. It's really different from every author, and it could be this crazy story, but it's told in a very slow pace, or even a faster pace in a really ordinary things that are super microscopical. And I think just enjoying the different types of writing and kind of witnessing as like a reader, it's just it's a good inspiration that I have for me to maybe try out different ways of kind of storytelling. And I think that Row and Oar, it naturally happened in the way that I was consuming also a lot of literature and books that I've been reading, and how it kind of shaped my own voice differently. Times of Mother by Ocean Vuong, and I was kind of figuring out how to kind of implement in some of the songs that I was so inspired by. And I think Insomnia, it really helped me a lot to read this and kind of coming up with my own way of writing that's kind of reflective of how I felt about this poetry collection. I get a lot of inspiration from like poetry, so I write poems first before I make it into a song.
Of course, we've seen you go on a lot of overseas showcases. Are you like, would you say like you're a sentimental kind of person? Like every time you go on these showcases, you have to bring something with you.
I think yes and no. I think I don't really particularly bring something home, but I like collecting, like, it might be a bit weird, but I do like a voice memo of like some of the sounds I have never heard before. When I was in Sydney, there's this I think in the crossroad for a lot of people with disability, there's like a sound that like plays in one of the crossroad, and I recorded some of them on my voice memo to see if we can, you know, sample them or even use them in as a record, or even like just in as an inspiration.
Have any of these sounds that you've heard in all of those other countries made it into any of your songs?
It's not really what I recorded, but like in like Cub, for example, I have a song called Cub, and it's videotaped, like a VHS, really old one of me and my dad in my childhood. I just voice memo that on my phone, and I added as like a part of the track, and kind of it became kind of like it was like it's like a capsule, like a memory for me to remember that time of my life.
So what do you see? Like what goes through your head when you're performing in front of an audience?
Oh yeah, I'm like a witness, really. I think I'm just a witness of music. When I know that the music is reaching, I can see them in their faces, and I have astigmatism, but whenever I'm really close, I could really see their expression, and I'm just like a witness of something that's kind of divine. It's not necessarily me, it's just how music works and how music connects and moves people. And it's just really nice reminder that, oh yeah, like music, this is the reason why I am obsessed with music, and the music makes me feel that way, exactly that way. That's why I do this. And it's just a really great reminder of like why I do this in the first place. And also I think it's a good reminder of the power of music and how it's beyond my control almost, yeah.